What's up, everyone? Welcome back to More Whiskey Podcast. I'm Justin Fisher, and we are back after a long hiatus. I needed to take some time. Doing podcasts is hard, and I had to some professional and personal stuff that I needed developing, but took some time off. Everything is amazing. Can't help it be even better. And it's a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Up here in the office. One of the new things is that I don't drink anymore. That wasn't a problem, but I did a nutrition challenge and lost the taste of it. So if you see me drinking, this is water. But I'm sitting here and I just finished a podcast with a friend of mine called Channel 2. Check it out. Trent Dalton's his name. Go ahead and Trent Dalton, Michael Dalton, same person. Check them out on Spotify. And we just got done talking about lethality in the new ACOT versus the APFT, the differences if it comes about. And it kind of got on my mind of lethality. And I was thinking about a conversation I was on Instagram with. I met a guy on there. He's a military vendor named Platoon Daddy, PLTDADDY. Check him out on Instagram. I'm not a big military influencer kind of person, but I like what he has. He's a combat arms guy, and he's selling some pretty cool stuff. But I saw that he had some issue with some trolls recently. And one thing about the veteran community, and we can all agree on, is that we can be the biggest supporters and the absolute biggest haters. That's what we do. We hate, and we always one-up each other. And that right there got me into kind of a weird topic, everyone's personal definition of combat. So what is combat, right? It's weird. It's like, what is combat? Because apparently a lot of people will always say, well, you've never seen combat. Really? I have actually seen combat by tactical definition, which is actually not a tactical definition. Direct fire is. And for all the internet trolls who are going to unquestionably look me up, feel free to. And also note when I got my awards, what rank I was at the time. And you can also send your "we're sorry" emails to me. Thank you. That being said, let's get into it, right? So coming to defense of my man online, Platoon Daddy, who did a good job of handling it, but once again, he's having to deal with people who served 2 years in the 1990s that did nothing and consider themselves veterans, especially on the November 11th one at Applebee's. But combat is defined by fighting between armed forces. It's pretty vague. Really vague. All right, let's break it down a little bit more there. About direct fire. So I'm reading out of the doctrinal terms for the military, for the Army, actually. Fire delivered on target using the target itself as a pointed aim for the weapon or the director. That means I have to see the target. So is that combat? Is indirect fire a combat? If I catch a mortar round in one corner of my fob, does that mean I was in combat? So what it's a vague definition here, but the real question is why do we as veterans always try to one-up each other in these situations right here, right? Why? I don't understand. The guy is out there and he's making good products and he's just trying to do what a lot of military people do, probably work on the transition program. Because like everyone, we all meet that inevitable line, that Thanos snap at the end of our careers, and we're trying to figure out what the next step is before we dissolve into army dust. But why? What is so? Somebody tell me what their personal definition of combat is. Is it engagements within 50 meters? So it's urban combat, kind of like what I experienced in 2004 or 5 Iraq. Is it the 300 plus meter engagements in Afghanistan? Is it random indirect fire as it was in 08? Or random car bombs? What somebody break this down for me. What is combat? And more importantly, why does it matter? The real thing is this right here is when people who've seen combat and done combat and been in those engagements, and I hate it's so cliche, but we usually don't talk about it. We usually don't want attention about it because if you're like me, it was a job. It's a job I did. 2004, 5, I've been in 24 years. That was a lifetime ago. Complete lifetime. I've had two more long ass deployments since then. I don't care. I don't go to my unit reunions. I don't. I mean, I went to one, but that was a whole lifetime again. That was like E5 then. I'm E8 now, so it's totally different. But that being said, I don't understand why we always have to constantly one up each other. Does it matter? Does it matter? I mean, the people who've been there know. I don't want attention for it. It's not like I drive around with my ERB on my back of my glass. I don't go to Applebee's. I just want to know what the big deal is about, oh, you haven't seen combat. If you're one of those people who says you never saw combat, you instantly put a red flag up. Red flag up. And what I think is, and this is the focus of the whole podcast, is a lot of these people, the combat, I did this on different podcasts. I wrote papers about this. Combat exposes you for what you are. If you've actually been in an engagement, it will peel you to your core. All those societal barriers that you go through, like your high school, your parents, your church, whatever it is that forms this shell around you, is all gone. When that first bullet, grenade, IED, whatever goes off, it shreds it. And that's who you are as a core. A lot of people can't handle who they really are. A lot of people want to be the pitcher. We always talk about officers who want to be the pitcher on the wall. They want to be the General Pattons. They want to be the George Washingtons. They want to be the whoever. They do. It still goes for enlisted soldiers as well. These people want that, and they'll start manifesting this belief that they're this type of soldier when they never really was. They never really was. And they're always the first ones to say, like, you never saw combat. Never saw it? You sure about that? And and to give a couple examples, I know a guy who so desperately wants to be this type of soldier. And he wants the rank for the title only. He wants the awards. Like, you catch him, like if he's roaming the halls or so you see him out, he always bring up what he knows what everyone's awards are. Like it matters. Like it really doesn't matter. I'm not getting I don't get a preferred parking space because of it. Okay. So with that being said, this is what he's fixated on because he wants the thrill. He's the first one to wear the Iraq campaign veterans hat everywhere we go. Everywhere you see him, he's out there in it. You're just like, you want so badly to be this, but you're not. You did. Everyone who deployed didn't see combat. I hate to tell you that. Really, and I'll be honest. I mean, probably when we was over there in Iraq, I mean, on where we was out in our FOB Headhunter, you guys can look it up. Probably just two companies were patrolling all the time. That was it. I'm light infantry. I've been light infantry for 24 years. So, two companies worth patrolling. You look at the green zone, which was not far from us. You're not looking at the patrols there, maybe less than a battalion patrolling. Have all those people there. Then it comes down to sector. Some people deploy and they don't see anything. It's what it is. Be proud of the fact that you represent the military, you represent the nation, you represent your family, you do everything well. But we can't do that as veterans. What we want to do is pick everybody apart and be like, oh, he's doing something good, but I bet you've never seen combat. Well, I bet you haven't either, but I'm also betting you're probably the person who puts the sign out in their yard, because I have this theory. I've known people who want so bad to have PTSD that they actually manifest it. And it's kind of like a controversial theory. I've seen it. I know of a guy who, just through hearsay, I've never really, I've talked to him a little bit about it, but just to gauge him. However, I know what he is. And what he is and what he says he saw is two different things. But he has manifested this persona of this right here that's totally far from the truth, to a point where he believes he is this personification. As they say, believe a lie until it becomes the truth. This is what this guy has done. This is it right here. And like I said, combat, the first round, the first motor round, the first whatever it is, shows you who you really are. And it's those people right there who cannot come to terms with what they are. And we can get into the whole PTSD debate. I have done podcasts on that over and all. But the bottom line is this: what is the definition of combat? It's right here, plain and white. It's in doctrinal terms. Offensive operations, unified land ops. You can go all the joint publications you want and look all that stuff up. It's perfectly fine. But why are we criticizing other people's? Are we all doing Storm Dollar? Is this what we're doing? My friend is online trying to sell shirts and merchandise. He's doing good things. He's trying to help people cope with what the military, because the military is toxic. It is what it is. It's toxic. It's a toxic environment. And it's hard for us to adapt in the world. And he's doing as best he can. And yet we're going to tear this dude down for what? You don't know what this guy's doing. I talked to him a little bit. I know exactly when he got in. I know exactly. I can almost guess where he's been to. He's legit. All right? He's a legit guy. Combat arms guy. He's legit. Okay. Point is, everyone's view of combat's different. So why are we judging everyone else? So this was more of a rant than a podcast. However, feel free to respond to it. I have no problems getting in a good debate. That being said, it's a new season coming up. Been waiting to get this season going back again. I'm working on slowly heading to that end game. A lot of big changes happened. I just got done doing a podcast, like I said, with Michael Dalton from Channel 2 podcast. So you want to check him out. Dalton's a good friend of mine, and he's put a lot of work into it. Real good talk about combatives and lethality and all that stuff there. So you want to check him out on Spotify. This stuff will be uploaded to all your personal streams. Anything that you want to be, this will be on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, all that good stuff. So welcome back. We'll talk a whole lot more what's going on. I am Justin Fisher.